Let me start by saying something that's going to make half of you click off in anger. Vinícius Júnior is the biggest problem Brazil have at this World Cup. Now before you rage, comment and leave I know exactly what you're about to say. Are you blind? He scored a worldie against Morocco. He scored against Haiti. He just bailed them out. He's their best player. And you know what? You're right. Every word of that is true. He has been Brazil's best player by a mile. And that exact fact is the problem. Because what you're calling Brazil's greatest strength is quietly turning into the thing that gets them knocked out. And by the end of this video, I promise you'll see it too. The crack is already there, hiding in plain sight behind two of the prettiest goals of the tournament. Everybody's staring at the magic. Nobody's looking at what the magic is covering up. So stick with me because this isn't the take you think it is. I'm not here to tell you Vinicius is bad. I'm here to tell you he's so good that he's broken Brazil, and a 5-time world champion has accidentally turned itself into a one-man team that's one bad night away from disaster. This is the problem nobody will admit. Let's get into it. First, let's be completely fair to the man, because this only works if we're honest. Vinícius Júnior is one of the best players on the planet. What he does for Real Madrid is absurd. The pace, the dribbling, the fearlessness, the big game goals. He turns half chances into highlight reels. He has dragged Madrid through Champions League nights single-handed. There is no argument to be had about his quality. He is elite. And right now, at this World Cup, he is in the form of his life. He said it himself after the Haiti game that he's arrived at this tournament in the best shape of his life, physically, technically, mentally. And the pitch backed him up. Against Morocco, with Brazil drowning, he conjured a goal out of absolutely nothing, collected the ball near the touchline, shifted his weight, darted inside, and bent it into the top corner against the run of play. It was world class. Against Haiti, he scored again and made another. 2 games, real end product, the swagger fully back. So let me be crystal clear. The criticism here is not that Vinicius is playing badly. The opposite. He is playing brilliant. The problem is what his brilliance is hiding. Let's go back to that Morocco game. Not the goal everybody saw the goal. Let's talk about the 89 minutes around. Because here's the truth nobody wants to put on a thumbnail. For most of that match, Brazil were second best to Morocco. A good Morocco, yes, but Brazil, the 5-time champions, with one of the most expensive squads ever assembled, were getting picked apart. Their midfield, Casemiro, Paquetá, Guimarães, names that should control any game on earth, was a mess. The gaps between them were enormous. Morocco just walked straight through the middle, pass after pass, leaving Brazil's defenders stranded in 1-against-1 situations they kept losing. By halftime, Morocco had taken 12 shots. 12 against Brazil. Casemiro was stranded on an island. The whole structure was broke. Brazil were, by every honest account, lucky to come away with a point. Their own manager, Carlo Ancelotti, a man who has won everything there is to win in football, walked into that press conference and said he was worried. He said the team was anxious. The nerves were all over the place, that they were very unbalanced. This is one of the greatest coaches of all time telling you, to your face, that his team didn't function. So how did Brazil escape with a draw? One man, one moment, Vinicius. And that right there is the whole problem in a single snapshot. Strip away Vinicius's individual genius from that game, and what are you left with? A broken midfield. A nervous defense. A team that got outplayed by a side ranked far below them. That wasn't a Brazil performance. That was one superstar dragging a malfunctioning machine across the line on his back. The headlines called it bailed out by Vinicius. Everyone read that as a compliment to him. It's not. It's an indictment of everyone around him. Now here's where it gets bigger than one game, because this is a disease Brazil have had for a very long time. For decades, Brazil have been described as a team of individuals. Beautiful, breathtaking individuals and not enough actual team. And it has cost them over and over again. Think about it. This is a nation that has not won a World Cup since 2002. 24 years. An entire generation of Brazilians has grown up never seeing their country lift the trophy. And in those 24 years, it's not like Brazil ran out of talent. They had Ronaldinho. They had Kaká. They had Neymar for over a decade. They have produced the most gifted attacking players on earth, non-stop without a break. And they kept losing the 7-1, the quarterfinal exits, the penalty heartbreaks. Because every time the plan was the same: find the magician, give him the ball and pray. Lean on individual brilliance instead of building a team that doesn't need a miracle every 90 minutes. And here in 2026, that exact same trap has a new name: Vinícius Júnior. He is not the cure for Brazil's 24-year curse. He is the latest, shiniest symptom of it. Brazil have looked at a broken team and decided the answer is, once again, to just hand it all to the genius and hope he's magic on the day. And so far he has been. But hope the superstar is magic today is not a strategy that wins you a World Cup. It's a strategy that gets you to a quarterfinal and then breaks your heart. And here's the part that should genuinely scare every Brazil fan watching. This over-reliance isn't an accident anymore. It's becoming the actual structure of the team. Watch how Ancelotti is building this side. Against Haiti, he didn't just play Vinicius, he redesigned the team around it. He moved Vini off the wing and into the middle. Between the center backs, told a whole other player to go and cover the space Vini left behind. The entire shape of Brazil's attack is now bending to get one man into dangerous positions. When your tactics become how do we maximize our one guy, you've stopped being a team with 11 threats and become a delivery system for one. And Ancelotti knows it. He sees the danger. Because in that same press conference after praising Vinicius, he said something that should have been the headline. He said, and I'm quoting him, "We don't want it to be Vinícius World Cup. We want it to be Brazil's World Cup." Read that again. That is a manager publicly trying to talk his own team out of leaning on one player too hard. That is Ancelotti in real time identifying the exact problem I'm describing and admitting he can't fully fix it. When the coach is begging the narrative not to be about one man, it's because deep down he knows that if it stays about one man, they're in trouble. And then it got worse. Because in the very next game, Brazil lost Rafinha. Their other star winger, the man on the other side of the attack, limped off with a hamstring injury. So now there's even less to share the load. Even more weight on the same pair of shoulders. The one alternative source of magic gone and the dependence on Vinicius tightening like a noose. And here's the part that's almost baffling. It's not even that Brazil have run out of weapons. They have Endrick, a teenage striker so highly rated that Real Madrid moved to sign him while he was still a kid. A player some people genuinely believe is the next great Brazilian number 9. Where is he? On the bench. He didn't even get onto the pitch until the second half against Haiti, and the moment he finally did and slid the ball into the net, it was chalked off for offside by a matter of inches. Think about that. Brazil are sitting on one of the most exciting young finishers in world football and choosing, game after game, to keep funneling everything through one man instead. That's not depth they don't have. That's depth they're refusing to use. And it tells you everything about how completely this team has decided that Vinicius is the plan, the whole plan, and nothing but the plan. So now let's talk about why all of this is so dangerous, why a one-man team isn't just less impressive, but actually fragile in a way that can end your whole tournament in a single second. When everything runs through one player, you are betting your entire World Cup on that one player being available, in form, and on the pitch in every single knockout game. And football, especially knockout football, does not give you those guarantees. What happens if he gets injured? We just saw how fast that can happen. Rafinha went down in 40 minutes. One bad tackle, one tweaked hamstring, and Brazil's entire plan walks off on a stretcher. What happens if a defender simply has the game of his life and shuts him down? Because in the knockouts, that's the only job the other team has stopped Vinicius, and you've stopped Brazil. Teams will double him, triple him, foul him, bait him. They will build their entire game plan around suffocating one man. And if it works, Brazil have no plan B, because plan A, plan B, and plan C are all called Vinicius. And here's the most dangerous one of all. Vinicius plays on the edge. That fire, that intensity, that refusal to back down, it's part of what makes him great. But it's also a liability, and everyone in world football knows it. He gets wound up. He retaliates. He talks back. He collects bookings. Opponents provoke him on purpose, precisely because they know they can get under his skin. And in a one-off knockout match, all it takes is one moment of frustration, one rash challenge, one booking too many, one suspension, and the man your entire World Cup depends on is sitting in the stands in a suit for the biggest game of the lot. A balanced team can survive losing one player. A one-man team cannot. And that is exactly what Brazil have allowed themselves to become. Let me paint you the exact picture because I think you can already see it coming. It's the quarterfinal. Brazil against a team that has done nothing all week but study one man. Their entire game plan fits on a single sticky note. Stop Vinicius. So they put 2 men on him every time he gets the ball. A third hovers behind. They foul him early just to let him know what kind of night it's going to be. They talk in his ear. They leave a boot in, and slowly you can see it on his face. The frustration starts to build. That same fire that makes him unplayable, now turning on him. The first yellow comes for a flick of the arm in anger. The whole stadium holds its breath every time he touches it now. And then, somewhere around the 75th minute, with Brazil chasing a game they simply cannot break open, he flies into one challenge too many. Second yellow. Red card. The long, lonely walk to the tunnel. And as he disappears down it, the camera cuts to the Brazil bench and there's nothing there. No plan B stretching. No system to fall back on. Just 10 men who suddenly remember they forgot how to be a team. The final whistle goes. Brazil are out. And the highlight of their entire World Cup will be a lovely goal he scored against Morocco back in week 1, before it all came crashing down. That scenario isn't fantasy. It is the single most likely way this Brazil team goes home. And every neutral watching can see it except it seems Brazil themselves. Now, I want to be fair because there's a version of this where I'm wrong and you deserve to hear it. For years, the knock on Vinicius was the opposite of a problem. It was that he didn't show up for Brazil at all. He was unplayable for Real Madrid and then weirdly quiet in the yellow shirt. The magic didn't travel. In Qatar in 2022, Brazil walked in as favorites and crashed out to Croatia, and Vinicius was nowhere near the player his club fans knew. So for a long time, the criticism was, where is the Madrid Vini for Brazil? And to his enormous credit, he is answering that question right now. He looks like he finally believes he can be the man for his country. And honestly, good for him. It's a great story. But here's the cruel twist, and it's the heart of this whole thing. Him solving his old problem has handed Brazil a brand new one, because the better he gets, the more they lean on him. The more he bails them out, the less anyone fixes the broken midfield, the nervous defense, the lack of a system. His brilliance is buying Ancelotti time he should be using to build a team, and instead it's letting everyone pretend the team is fine. Every time Vini rescues them, the real, deeper problems get to hide for one more game. The better Vinicius plays, the more fragile Brazil become. That is the paradox nobody will say out loud. So let me bring it all the way home. Vinícius Júnior is not a bad footballer. He is a phenomenal one. He might be the most talented attacker at this entire tournament. If you're picking one player to win you a single game out of nothing, he's near the top of the list on earth. But Brazil are not trying to win a single game. They are trying to win 7 of them in a row against the best teams on the planet in the most brutal tournament ever staged. And to do that, you cannot be a one-man team. You have to be a team, a real one, with balance, with structure, with a midfield that functions and a plan B for the nights the magic doesn't come. Brazil don't have that. What they have is the greatest individual papering over a broken collective and a manager who already knows it and can't say it any louder than he has. That is why Vinícius Júnior is their biggest problem. Not because of what he does wrong, but because of how completely they now depend on him doing everything right. So here's my honest verdict. I think Vinicius lights up the group stage. I think he scores more worldies, and the highlight reels keep everyone convinced. And then I think Brazil run into a disciplined, organized knockout team that locks him down, or bait him into a booking, or catch him on an off night and the whole house of cards comes down, because there was never really a house. There was just Vinicius holding the roof up alone. 24 years without a trophy, and they're about to bet the next 4-on-1 man's perfect tournament. I really hope for their sake that he's perfect, because if he isn't, there is nothing behind him. So now I want to hear from you, and be honest. Am I crazy? Is Vinicius going to win Brazil this World Cup single-handed and make me eat every word of this? Or have you seen the same cracks? I have a brilliant player carrying a broken team? Drop it in the comments because I genuinely want to know where you land on this one. And if you want to see which other giants are quietly falling apart at this World Cup, because trust me, Brazil are not alone. I broke that whole thing down right here. Click it and I'll show you who's next.